Hey everyone, this is part 3 of repairing a chassis. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be showing you what screws to take out when you're trying to get rid of or replace your chassis. So what I learned about repair or replacing a chassis is that it can be a little difficult trying to get rid of that chassis because there are a whole bunch of screws that look like they're attached to the chassis but aren't. And then there are some screws that look like they aren't attached to the chassis, but in reality they are. So one of the things that, as I showed you in part 2, is that you can just leave this front bumper right here just all intact. Just leave that intact. So first of all, what I started out with was I undid this screw, I undid this screw. Also, you have these little knobs right here. Remember these that go right there? That probably looks a little more familiar. There are screws in there, and those are a little difficult because you're gonna have to shove your screwdriver in this hole. See? Also, what you want to do is you want to get rid of these 4 screws. These 4 screws. You want to get rid of the bumper right here, right here. And then also what you want to do is you want to undo this screw, undo this screw. Then after that, you want to undo this screw. You want to undo that screw. Then you want to undo, this is going to be a little hard to see, but right where my thumb is. Oh, do you see that? Right where my thumb is. Right there. Those 2 screws that my thumb is sandwiched in. And then, oh, there we go. And then these 2 screws, this one and that one. You want to undo those. Also, this was, in my opinion, the easier part. Over here, we have right by the speed controller. I just took the speed controller out. You gotta get right under in there, right there. Get rid of that screw, and on the other side, right where my thumbnail is, get rid of that screw. Then, on top of that, you want to get rid of that screw right by my thumbnail. And then on the other side, get rid of that screw. Gotta turn this around. Still not done. Then what you want to do is you want to get rid of that screw. And then this screw. Can you see that? And then after that, we're still not done. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this because the little, do you see my screwdriver? I'm going to slowly drag it right over here. there's another screw in there. And then, right on the other side, we gotta go see the screwdriver, follow it. Still going. There. There's another screw. And that's what we're done on top. Then we have to take this whole part off right here. Take all of these screws. Well, that's not a screw, that's where I drilled a hole for my roll cage. Get rid of this screw, that screw, this screw, that one, this one, and that one. Also, I found it a little easy. You don't need to take these screws out. You're good on there. So just leave this shield just there. So, also, as you'll notice, if you have this crazy little mod right here, this strap, you're going to also have to take that out if you didn't get that by now. Also, what was going on is that I just talked to my cousin, and when my chassis broke, I thought, what my brother told me was that that my cousin broke the chassis by barrel rolling. I'm like, how the heck did that happen? And so it just sounded really, really cheesy from the very beginning. So I play along with it just to see what happens. And so a week later, I call up my brother just to talk about some new ideas for the channel. And he told me that my brother was the one who broke the chassis. And he did it by, he wanted to drag race, and he didn't have his wheel straight. I'm assuming these ones, since I wasn't there. These, he had them turned. And so he went full speed into a trash can. That sounds a lot better, mainly because I don't have to pay for a $12 chassis. Also, it still kind of sounds a little cheesy because when I broke it, I broke this thing right here. Let me turn the car. I broke this part of the chassis right here, right where my thumb is. Right along, right there. That's where I broke it, and then on the other side. And it was just clean. And so that's the part that I'm still, it doesn't quite make sense, but it makes sense that it wasn't because I barrel rolled. So that is how we replace the chassis. It's a little complicated, but it wasn't the hardest thing in the world. Also, a little sneak peek of what I'm going to be doing in my next videos is that I am going to try to repair my old chassis and see how long that lasts. Mainly, the reason why I wanted to do that was because I already drilled holes and for my roll cage, and so I just said, well, let's see what I can do. And so my uncle, he said that, you know, I have a plastic welder, and so that will melt the plastic really easily. And I said, okay, well, I'll try that. And then he also offered me a metal bender, and I said, you know what, I'll try that too. for the roll cage since I'm using those aluminum rods. So I'll have those 2 videos coming up. I just need to get my parents to drive me over to my uncle's house. And so I am going to show you guys how to build an aluminum. That's what I'm using. I didn't want to use steel because that's just going to be a really hard to bend, but I'm going to be posting a video on how to make a roll cage for an ECX buggy. Sorry, ECX Boost buggy. And then also I'm going to show you guys how to do that plastic welding thing, if it works. Also, I got my hands on this monster horsepower, and I'll show you guys how to replace a motor. So, I have a lot of cool stuff coming up. Also, this is a little exciting for me, mainly because I'm going to get a new car. And not only is it going to be bodacious, and it's going to be another car, but it's going to be bigger. And for those people that are into big cars, and when I mean big, I mean 5th scale, I'm going to get this Losi Extra Large Desert Buggy. And so I'm going to do a lot of cool videos with that. I'm going to get that around Christmas time. And then I'm going to do a whole bunch of more GoPro videos with that, if I can get my hands on a GoPro. And then after that, and then we'll wait until next year, and then we'll get our hands on a Team Associated SC10 Rockstar Edition, and we'll see what we can do going from there. And then quite possibly I might be getting my hands on 1 or 2 more cars. I believe they're Traxxas, but I do not know what the model is. So that will be all for repairing a chassis, and for part 3 of repairing a chassis, and for today's episode. Stay tuned in. I'll try to get some more videos. Please send feedback if you want. I'm always welcome to just get new ideas, and if I like the idea, then I will post a video about it. If you guys need help repairing or replacing something, I'll be gladly to post a video about it. Or if you just have simple questions, just email me. You can email me. I know this sounds a little cheesy, but email me at thewizofdeath@gmail.com. Don't judge. But it is a lowercase t. So stay tuned in, and that will be all for today's segment.